Starting from nothing can feel overwhelming, but it's in these moments that true growth happens. Your mind is the most powerful tool you have. It determines whether you rise or stay stuck. Rebuilding yourself isn't about waiting for a perfect moment. It's about taking consistent, purposeful action, one step at a time. The journey starts with how you think. It starts with shifting your mindset to unlock your full potential. In this video, we'll break down the exact steps you need to take to train your mind, build new habits, and rebuild yourself stronger than ever. Every challenge, every failure, every setback is an opportunity to learn and grow. If you're ready to stop feeling defeated and start taking control of your future, this is the video for you. Stay tuned, and let's dive into how you can begin your transformation today. Number 1, take full responsibility for your current situation today. That's the starting point. That's where real change begins. Not tomorrow, not when you feel better, not when your friends start supporting you, not when circumstances become easier. Right now, the truth is, if you don't own where you are today, you'll never get where you want to be tomorrow. You see, one of the greatest turning points in a person's life is when they decide to stop blaming everything around them. It's when they stop pointing fingers, when they stop saying, it's my parents, or it's the system, or it's my job, or it's bad luck. That kind of thinking feels good in the short term. It protects your ego, but in the long term, it steals your power. The day you say, no more excuses, is the day your life starts to change. I know it's hard to accept that you are where you are because of the choices you've made. That hits deep, but that's the only way to take control. That's the only way to get up when everything feels broken. You can't rebuild your life while holding on to blame. You've got to drop it. You've got to decide that you're in charge now. That's how it works. You can't train your mind to rebuild yourself until you're honest about how you got here. That takes guts. That takes strength. Most people run from that kind of truth. They numb it with distractions. They drown it with entertainment. They hide behind fake smiles and false confidence. But if you want to become someone new, if you want to rise from the ground up, you have to face the mirror. You have to face yourself. You may not like what you see. You may see weakness, inconsistency, bad habits, broken routines, regrets, but that's okay. You're not meant to stay there. That's just the starting point. That's the truth you need so you can break free. Because once you know what's broken, you can begin fixing it. But as long as you pretend, you stay stuck. Some people think it's unfair to take responsibility for things that were out of their control. But that's not what this is about. This isn't about taking blame for everything that's happened to you. It's about claiming the power to shape what happens next. You didn't choose your childhood. You didn't choose who hurt you. You didn't choose how the world treated you. But you do choose how you respond. You choose whether you stay stuck in pain or rise above it. You choose whether you repeat the same patterns or break them. The strongest people I know are not the ones who had it easy. They're the ones who stopped making excuses. They're the ones who said, this is where I am, and I'm going to change it. They didn't wait for the perfect plan. They didn't wait for approval. They didn't wait to feel ready. They took control. They said, if this life is going to be built, it's going to be built by my own hands, one day at a time. Responsibility is not a burden, it's a gift. Because the moment you take responsibility is the moment you get your power back. When you blame others, you're giving them control over your life. But when you say, this is on me, you grab the steering wheel. You may not know the full path ahead, but at least now you're driving, and that changes everything. Some people don't want to take responsibility because they're afraid. They think, what if I fail? But here's the truth. You're already failing when you don't try. You're already stuck when you do nothing. So you might as well take a swing. You might as well put your name on your future. Because if you keep waiting for someone to come save you, you'll be waiting for the rest of your life. You've got to decide right now that no one owes you anything. The world doesn't owe you fairness. Your past doesn't owe you healing. People don't owe you understanding. That's the hard truth. But once you stop expecting others to make your life better, you can finally start making it better yourself. You don't need permission to improve. You don't need anyone to believe in you. You need to believe in yourself enough to take the first step. Rebuilding yourself means you stop waiting to feel motivated. It means you take action even when you're tired, even when you're scared, even when it feels like nothing is working. Responsibility gives you the grit to keep going when things feel impossible. It gives you the strength to keep showing up when no one is clapping for you, when no one notices, when no one cares. That's the reality of rebuilding your life. It's lonely, it's hard, but it's worth it. Start by cleaning up the basics. Your room, your habits, your thoughts. If your space is a mess, clean it. If your mornings are lazy, fix them. If your mind is cluttered with doubt, get quiet and sort it out. You can't control the world, but you can control how you show up in it. You can control your attitude. You can control your choices, and that's where your power lives. You may have to cut out distractions. You may have to walk away from people who hold you back. You may have to spend more time alone. That's the price of rebuilding. But you won't stay alone forever, because as you level up, you attract people on the same path. People who get it. People who respect your effort. People who see your hunger and match it. Most people won't understand what you're doing at first. They'll say you've changed. They'll say you're too serious. But that's okay. Keep going anyway, because this is your life, and no one's gonna do it for you. You've got to get your hands dirty. You've got to do the work when you don't feel like it. That's the only way to build something real. Stop waiting for signs. Stop hoping someone will push you. Push yourself. That's what rebuilding looks like. It's quiet. It's disciplined. It's patient. You're not going to see results in a day. You're not going to feel like a new person next week. But if you stick with it, if you take full responsibility and keep showing up, you will change. You will grow. You will rise. Responsibility is not just about big choices. It's about the small ones too. Do you snooze your alarm or get up? Do you scroll for an hour or read something that sharpens you? Do you eat junk or fuel your body? Every small choice matters. They add up. They shape your future. So take each one seriously. Not because you have to, because you want to, because you know that this is the way forward. Your mind is your greatest tool, but you've got to train it. You've got to discipline it. You've got to stop feeding it lies. Stop saying I'm not good enough. Stop saying it's too late. That kind of talk doesn't serve you. Speak to yourself with strength. Tell yourself the truth. You've made mistakes. Yes. You've been lazy. Yes. You've avoided responsibility. Yes. But that ends today. No more dragging your past into your present. No more blaming your history for your future. You're alive. You're breathing. That means you've still got a chance. Take it. Use it. Don't waste it. The people who make it in life are not the ones with the perfect plan. They're the ones who decide to own their flaws, fix their habits, and stay consistent even when no one is watching. You may not be where you want to be, but if you're willing to take responsibility, you're already ahead of most. You're already on your way. Don't stop now. Don't let temporary pain stop permanent growth. Don't let today's discomfort steal tomorrow's strength. You're in charge now. That's a powerful place to be. Every time you say this is my fault, you get stronger. Every time you say I can fix this, you grow. That's how you train your mind to rebuild. Not with fake motivation, not with false promises, but with real action, with honest accountability, with the courage to say I may have messed up, but I won't stay down. It starts now. Not when you feel better, not when things are easier, not when someone gives you a chance. You give yourself a chance. You fight for your own future. You take full responsibility, and you begin again. Stronger, wiser, sharper. Number 2, start by identifying the most crucial habits to change. If you really want to rebuild yourself from the ground up, you must start by identifying the habits that are holding you back. The truth is, people don't fall behind in life because they lack dreams or ambition. They fall behind because their daily habits are quietly working against them. It's not always the big mistakes that ruin progress. It's the small, unnoticed patterns that slowly drain your time, energy, and focus. The sooner you get honest about which habits are hurting you, the sooner you can replace them with ones that make you stronger. This is where real change begins. You can't transform your life without confronting the habits that are breaking it down. And to do that, you have to stop lying to yourself. You have to stop pretending that everything is fine, when deep down you know there are patterns you follow every day that keep you stuck. Start by paying attention to your routine. Not just what you do, but when you do it, how often and why. Because if you don't know your habits, they will control you without you even noticing. What time are you waking up? What's the first thing you reach for in the morning? What do your evenings look like? How often do you procrastinate? How often do you say you'll do something and then never do it? These are not small questions. These are the keys to your future. If your routine is built on distraction, delay, or comfort, you'll never create the discipline you need to rise. Start writing down everything you do in a day. Be brutally honest. Track how you spend your time. Look at the things that eat up your energy but give you nothing back. Look at the way you talk to yourself. Look at how much time you spend reacting instead of taking charge. You'll start to see patterns. You'll start to see which habits are draining your potential. And when you see them clearly, you can break them with intention. Most people try to change their lives by forcing new goals on top of broken systems. That doesn't work. If you keep the same weak habits in place, no new goal will survive. That's why change never sticks for some people. They don't take time to clear out the mental and behavioral clutter first. You've got to dig deep. You've got to look at the roots, not just the branches. You've got to deal with the behaviors that are quietly convincing you to play small. If you want a new life, you have to replace old habits. And to replace them, you must first know which ones are killing your momentum. Maybe it's staying up too late, watching things that don't improve your mind. Maybe it's eating foods that steal your energy. Maybe it's avoiding hard conversations. Maybe it's checking your phone every 5 minutes, instead of focusing on something meaningful. Maybe it's always saying yes to things you don't want to do. These habits feel small in the moment, but over time they create a life that feels stuck. You don't need to fix everything at once. That's not how people change. You fix one habit at a time. You zoom in and focus. You pick the one habit that's hurting you the most, and you deal with it until it's gone. Don't try to do 20 things at once. That's a recipe for burnout. Be smart. Be strategic. Start with the habit that has the biggest negative impact, the one that's been with you for years, the one you've made excuses for. Get clear about the pain it causes. Don't sugarcoat it. How has that habit cost you? What has it taken from your health, your confidence, your relationships? Get specific. Don't turn away from the truth. That's how you build the drive to change. You stop pretending. You face the consequences of your behavior, and you decide that enough is enough. You say, this is the habit that no longer belongs in the life I'm building. Now that you've identified it, you have to replace it. Habits don't just disappear. You can't just stop something. You have to start something better. If you want to stop wasting time on social media, start reading something that sharpens your thinking. If you want to stop eating junk, start preparing food that makes you feel strong. If you want to stop reacting to everything emotionally, start practicing stillness. Train yourself to move with clarity instead of chaos. Your energy must have direction. The mind is powerful, but it follows instructions. And the instructions are your habits. If your habits say, take the easy way, then your mind will stay soft. If your habits say, train for discomfort, then your mind will become sharp. This is why identifying the most important habits to change is step one. Until you do, everything else is surface level. Start using your time with intention. If you've identified that procrastination is a habit, set deadlines that scare you. Force yourself to finish before you feel ready. If your habit is overthinking, take fast action before your doubts have time to grow. If your habit is seeking comfort, go do one uncomfortable thing every day on purpose. You break the old by practicing the opposite. You don't wait for it to happen naturally. You do it deliberately. People think change is about motivation. It's not. It's about pattern breaking. You've lived in a certain way for so long that your body and mind expect it. If you always avoid challenges, your brain expects avoidance. If you always give up when it's hard, your body expects comfort. So now you shock the system. You show your mind a new way. You interrupt the old response. You don't give laziness or fear time to settle in. You act quickly. You repeat that action until it becomes the new normal. That's how habits change, not by thinking, by doing, not once, over and over, even when it's boring, especially when it's boring. You do it until it stops feeling strange and starts feeling like who you are, because that's the goal. Not just to change what you do, but to change how you see yourself. You want to become the kind of person who doesn't tolerate weak habits anymore. The more honest you get about the habits that no longer serve you, the more power you take back. You stop blaming the world. You stop waiting for better circumstances. You realize that the quality of your life is the quality of your habits, and no one else is going to change them for you. This is your responsibility. This is your life. No more excuses. No more half efforts. If you want a different future, you need to start changing your patterns today. And make no mistake, this is not easy. You'll feel resistance. You'll feel discomfort. That's the cost of growth. You don't grow by staying comfortable. You grow by stepping into the pain of discipline. You grow by doing the work when your old habits beg you not to. You grow by refusing to return to what once felt normal. You hold the line. You stay the course. You commit to the new path long enough for it to become your new identity. Take time to sit with yourself every day. Ask the hard questions. What habit made me weaker today? What choice would I take back? What moment did I let fear or laziness win? That reflection is not about guilt. It's about clarity. You cannot change what you do not notice. And once you notice, you cannot keep ignoring it. The moment you see it, you are responsible for it. And responsibility is power. You have the power to rewrite your daily script. You have the ability to tear down what doesn't serve you and build habits that strengthen your mind, sharpen your discipline, and lead you toward the future you deserve. This doesn't happen by accident. It happens by decision. You decide that enough is enough. You decide that you're not going to carry your old habits into your new life. You decide that your potential matters more than your patterns. This is the kind of work most people avoid. That's why most people don't change. They want the rewards, but not the honesty. But you're different. You're here to rebuild yourself from nothing. And that means you're willing to do the work most people run from. You're willing to go to war with your old self. You're willing to say, these habits do not belong to the future I'm building. And you replace them one by one with purpose and discipline. You don't need 100 new habits. You need a few powerful ones that you repeat every single day. You need a routine that builds strength, not weakness. You need actions that serve your highest self. You need choices that match the vision you've created for your life. And the moment you align your habits with that vision, your life begins to shift in ways you can feel, see, and control. This is how you train your mind to rebuild yourself from nothing. You strip away the old. You face the truth. You change your behaviors. You build a foundation so solid that no excuse, no setback, no fear can shake it. And the person who comes out the other side of that process is not just changed. They're reborn with purpose, clarity, and power. Number 3, commit to daily action even when progress feels slow. Most people quit because they don't see results fast enough. But that's exactly when you have to keep showing up. The slow days are the ones that separate those who are serious from those who are just interested. When it feels like nothing is happening, that's when your commitment is being tested the most. You're not just building progress on those days, you're building character, discipline, and mental toughness. Every person who ever built something great had to push through long stretches of invisible progress. It's not exciting, it's not glamorous, but it's necessary. The days when you don't feel like it are the most important days to keep going. That's where you build the kind of mindset that can't be shaken. If you only work when it's easy, you'll never get anywhere worth going. If you only take action when things are going well, you'll never know what you're capable of when life pushes back. Daily action is not about motivation, it's about a decision. A decision to keep moving forward, even when the payoff isn't immediate. A decision to stay focused on what you're building, not on how fast it's happening. Because the truth is, real growth is slow. The kind of change that lasts doesn't show up overnight. It shows up gradually, one disciplined day at a time. You might not see the changes right away, but that doesn't mean they're not happening. Progress is like planting a seed. You water it, you care for it, and for a while it looks like nothing is happening. But under the surface, something is forming. A foundation is being laid, and if you stop because you don't see results, you'll never know what was about to break through. Most people walk away 5 minutes before something starts to shift. If you want to rebuild yourself from nothing, you need to stay consistent, especially when it feels pointless. Because that's the trap. Your mind will try to convince you that slow progress means no progress, but that's not true. Progress is not always loud. Sometimes it's silent. Sometimes it's just showing up and doing the work with no applause, no recognition, and no confirmation that you're getting anywhere. But if you do that long enough, your life starts to change in ways you didn't expect. The only reason I ever changed anything in my life is because I stopped looking for quick wins and started looking for daily effort. I told myself that if I showed up every single day with discipline, the results would take care of themselves. And they did. But it wasn't fast, and it wasn't fun every day. There were days I wanted to give up, days I questioned whether it was worth it, but I kept going. And that made all the difference. It's easy to get excited at the beginning of a journey. That doesn't take strength. What takes strength is sticking with it when the excitement is gone, and all you have left is your routine, the repetition, the quiet effort. That's where you start to become someone different. That's where transformation really happens. When you push through the boredom, the doubt, the silence, that's when you start building something that can't be taken away from you. You've got to stop tying your effort to immediate results. That mindset will kill your drive. Instead, tie your effort to your standards. Do it because you said you would. Do it because the kind of person you want to become wouldn't skip a day. Do it because building your future is more important than feeling good in the moment. This is not about feeling ready. It's about staying ready. Even when life gets hard. There's a reason most people stay stuck. They're waiting for things to feel better before they take action. They want momentum before they move. But that's not how it works. Action creates momentum, not the other way around. You don't wait to feel better. You act until you do. You don't wait for clarity. You act your way into clarity. You don't wait for signs. You become the sign by showing up consistently, even when nothing around you is encouraging you to continue. You have to trust the process more than your emotions. Your emotions will lie to you. They'll tell you it's not worth it. They'll tell you it's too hard. They'll tell you you're not seeing results fast enough. But the process doesn't lie. If you do the work will work on you. If you stay consistent, your life will shift. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but eventually. And when it does, you'll look back and realize that every slow, quiet day was part of the foundation. This is about building mental stamina. You're not just working toward a goal. You're training yourself to be the kind of person who doesn't break under pressure. That's a skill. That's a mindset. And it's built one day at a time, when it's raining, when you're tired, when no one's watching, when the world is moving fast and you're moving slow. That's when it counts. That's when you prove to yourself that you're in this for real. You don't have to do everything in one day, but you do have to do something every day. That's how change compounds. That's how effort adds up. Small steps taken with purpose create massive results over time. Not instantly, not all at once, but gradually and then suddenly. But that suddenly only happens if you survive the slow phase, the quiet phase, the phase where no one believes in you except you. That's the hardest part. Believing in yourself when there's no evidence yet. When nothing outside of you is confirming that you're on the right path. That's when most people give up. But if you stay with it, if you keep building, eventually the evidence shows up. Your results start to reflect your effort. Your mind starts to trust you. Your confidence grows. Not because everything got easier, but because you got stronger. You don't need perfect conditions to keep going. You need purpose. You need to know why you started in the first place. And you need to remind yourself of that every day. When it's slow, remember your vision. When it's hard, remember what you're fighting for. When it's lonely, remember that your future self is counting on you not to quit. Every day that you stay consistent is a day that brings you closer to that person. And stop looking at how far you have to go. That'll only discourage you. Look at how far you've come. Look at the days you didn't want to do the work, but did. Look at the effort you've already put in. You're not the same person who started this journey. You've grown. You've strengthened. Even if the results haven't fully arrived yet, your effort is changing you. You're becoming more disciplined, more focused, more grounded. That matters. Sometimes we think we're stuck, but we're not. We're just in a phase where the growth is invisible, like lifting weights. You don't see the muscles growing every day, but keep lifting, and they do. Like saving money, you don't become rich overnight, but save consistently, and wealth builds. The same rule applies to your mind, your habits, your future. Keep showing up, keep doing the work. Don't skip the slow days. They are the days that make you. You have to decide that your future is worth more than your comfort today, that your goals are more important than your excuses, that even when it feels like nothing is happening, something is. Every disciplined action is a vote for the kind of life you're building. And if you keep voting for that life, every single day, eventually it becomes your reality. This is not about talent. It's not about luck. It's about endurance. Can you keep moving when things aren't going your way? Can you stay focused when no one else understands your vision? Can you hold the line when everything around you says it's easier to give up? That's the test. And the people who pass it aren't the most gifted. They're the most consistent. There will be days when you doubt everything, days when you question if you're wasting your time. But those are not signs to stop. They are signs to go deeper, to recommit, to anchor yourself to your purpose, and press forward. Because on the other side of those slow, discouraging days is a breakthrough. A moment when everything clicks. A season when your effort pays off in ways you never expected. But you'll only reach it if you stay with it. If you commit to daily action no matter what. Not just for a week, not just for a month, but until the change is real, until the progress is undeniable, until you've built something solid enough that nothing can knock you off course again. That's the reward of consistency. That's the reward of doing the work, even when it feels like it's not working. And one day, you'll look back and be thankful that you didn't quit during the slow days. You'll be proud that you kept showing up when it was hard, because that's when your foundation was built. That's when your strength was formed. Not when everything was going well, but when it wasn't. When the results were invisible, but your effort was real. This is how you rebuild yourself from nothing. You take daily action. You stay consistent. You keep going even when it feels like you're moving in the dark. Because you're not. Every step counts. Every action matters. And one day, that slow grind turns into unstoppable momentum. And you'll know you earned every inch of it. Number 4. Face your fears head on and use them as fuel. Fear is not your enemy. It's your untapped power waiting to be used. Every time you avoid what scares you, you shrink. But every time you face it, you rise. Fear only has control over you when you let it stay in the dark. The moment you stare it in the face, it loses its grip. It starts to transform. It becomes energy you can use to move forward instead of something that holds you back. Most people run from what they fear, not realizing that what they're running from is actually the path to their breakthrough. That fear you feel is not a warning to retreat. It's a signal that you're approaching something meaningful, something that if you face it, will change your life. If you never confront your fears, you will always live a life built around avoiding discomfort. And that kind of life will never lead you to who you're capable of becoming. You have to stop treating fear like a wall and start treating it like a doorway. It's not there to block you. It's there to test you. It's there to ask you, how badly do you want it? And every time you back away, you answer with weakness. But every time you step toward it, even if your hands shake and your heart races, you tell the world and yourself that you are done letting fear lead your life. Everyone you admire, everyone who has accomplished something powerful, has had to face fear. No one is born fearless. Courage is built by doing the things that make you nervous. Strength is built by choosing action when comfort says sit down. There is no growth in safety. And if you want to rebuild yourself from nothing, you must be willing to move toward what makes you uncomfortable. Not once, not twice, but as a daily discipline. The truth is, your fear reveals exactly where you need to go. If it scares you to speak up, then speak louder. If it terrifies you to start, then take the first step. If it makes you anxious to face the truth, then look directly at it. Because buried under that fear is the version of you that you were always meant to become. But you'll never meet that version if you stay in hiding. If you let fear run the show, you have to stop waiting for fear to disappear before you take action. That moment will never come. Fear doesn't go away first. It weakens as you move forward. You don't need fear to vanish. You need it to fuel your movement. Let it light a fire under you. Let it remind you that what you're doing matters. Let it be the reason you show up more prepared, more focused, more alive. And here's what happens when you start doing that. You begin to trust yourself more, because you realize that you're capable of facing what once felt impossible. And the more you do that, the more unstoppable you become. The fear doesn't get bigger, you do. And eventually what once paralyzed you becomes something you walk through without hesitation. That's real transformation. That's how you turn your fear into power. You can't build anything great while living in the shadows of your fears. Hiding from them only makes them stronger. Ignoring them doesn't make them disappear. It makes them fester. You have to bring them into the light. You have to talk about them, write them down, look them dead in the eye. And then you walk toward them, step by step, moment by moment, with or without the confidence, with or without the certainty, but always with the commitment. And you'll learn something powerful. The things you feared most were never as big as they felt. They were illusions, inflated by avoidance. And the moment you took action, you shattered their control. That's the magic of facing fear. It always reveals how small it really was compared to your potential. You were not given life to tiptoe through it. You were given life to become someone worthy of your own respect. And that won't happen if you let fear dictate your actions. You want to feel alive. Then do the things that scare you. You want to grow. Then choose the path that makes your stomach turn. That's the sign you're not settling. That's the signal you're on the edge of something extraordinary. Fear is nothing more than energy waiting to be redirected. It's raw fuel. And if you stop wasting it on hesitation, you can start using it to drive forward momentum. That fear of failure, use it to prepare harder. That fear of rejection, use it to sharpen your message. That fear of not being good enough, use it to train, to study, to grind until you are. Don't run from fear, harness it. You don't need to be fearless. You just need to stop letting fear make your decisions. Let it sit in the passenger seat, if it has to, but never let it drive. You are in control. You decide what matters. You decide how far you'll go. And if you let your fears guide you instead of trap you, you'll start to see something incredible. Your fears point directly to your freedom. That fear of being seen, it's pointing to your power. That fear of starting over, it's pointing to your strength. That fear of change, it's pointing to your growth. Fear is not your limitation, it's your compass. And every time you move toward it, you expand, you stretch, you step into a new level of strength. And it's not about being reckless, it's about being courageous. Knowing the risk, seeing the challenge, and choosing to move anyway. Because deep down, you know that who you become in the process is worth far more than the temporary discomfort. And yes, you will feel exposed. You will feel vulnerable. You will question yourself. But if you keep moving, those feelings will turn into pride, into confidence, into real earned self-belief. You'll wake up one day and realize that the version of you who used to hide from life no longer exists, because you faced your fears and you won. Not once, but over and over, with grit, with intention, with courage. Fear is not here to break you, it's here to build you, but only if you choose to step into it. Only if you stop letting it be an excuse to stay where you are. You already know what staying the same feels like. You already know what shrinking does to your spirit. So why not see what's possible when you lean into your fears instead of away from them? You've got everything you need already inside you. The courage, the strength, the resilience, it's all there. Fear is just the obstacle that reveals it. It's not the problem, it's the doorway. And once you start walking through those doors, your life starts to change fast. Because you're no longer avoiding the work. You're stepping directly into it. So the next time fear shows up, don't pull back. Lean in. Ask it what it's trying to protect you from. And then decide if that protection is actually keeping you stuck. Most of the time, fear is just trying to keep you safe. But safe won't build your dreams. Safe won't rebuild your life. Safe won't bring you to the edge of your potential. Risk will. Courage will. Action will. You were not born to live behind your fear. You were born to rise above it, to master it, to use it. You want to change your life? Then you've got to start doing the things that scare you, every single day, without fail. And the more you do, the stronger you'll get. until one day what used to terrify you becomes your new baseline. And from there you aim higher. Because that's what fear is meant to do. It's meant to sharpen you, to challenge you, to elevate you, not destroy you. But it will destroy you if you let it decide for you. So make a different choice. Use it. Fuel yourself with it. And when people ask how you built your life back from nothing, you'll tell them this: I stopped running from fear and started using it to become unstoppable. Number 5, build your confidence by making small daily wins. Success doesn't begin with grand moments. It starts with the small wins you stack every single day when nobody's watching. Confidence is not something you wait to feel. It's something you create through action, through effort, through consistency. It's built, not gifted. And if you want to rebuild yourself from the ground up, you have to begin with the simple truth that progress starts small and grows strong over time. There's a reason most people stay stuck. They're waiting to feel good before they act. They want motivation to hit them like lightning. They want a breakthrough before they've done any real work. But it doesn't work that way. You don't magically become confident. You earn confidence, and you earn it by keeping promises to yourself, one after another, day after day. You do the thing you said you'd do, no matter how small. And that's how you prove to yourself that you can be trusted. Most people underestimate the power of a small win. They think it has to be dramatic to be valuable. But what really builds strength is the daily follow-through. You wake up, you make a plan, and you execute the simplest part of it. That's a win. You resist the urge to check out, and you show up, even for 5 minutes. That's a win. You do the uncomfortable task you usually avoid. That's a win. Stack enough of those, and you'll start to feel something new: belief in yourself. The fastest way to shatter insecurity is by showing up for yourself consistently. Because every time you do, you take back control. You tell yourself, I can rely on me. That's where confidence comes from. Not from talking about it, not from waiting for it, but from building it, one decision at a time. Every small action that aligns with your goals is a brick. You lay down those bricks, and eventually you build something unshakable. The problem is, we're always looking at the mountain. We're focused on the huge outcome, the long-term goal, the overwhelming change, and that pressure paralyzes us. It makes us doubt ourselves. But you don't climb a mountain by leaping to the top. You climb it by taking one deliberate step, over and over, until the view changes. That's the same way you rebuild your confidence. One win, one step, one choice at a time. And here's the truth: those small wins are not small. They're everything. They are the foundation. They are what separate the talkers from the doers. Anybody can set a goal. Anybody can talk about what they want. But very few people have the discipline to take those daily actions that don't feel exciting but matter more than anything. And that's where the power is. In the unglamorous, in the unnoticed. In the quiet, steady effort that adds up over time. You don't have to do something incredible today. You just have to do something. Something that moves you forward. Something that proves to your own mind that you are serious about your growth. Because once your brain starts to believe that, everything changes. You stop hesitating. You stop second-guessing. You stop looking for outside validation because you've earned your own. That's why daily wins are so important. They don't just build results. They rebuild your identity. You start to see yourself differently. Not as someone trying to change, but as someone who follows through. Someone who doesn't quit. Someone who shows up. And that shift in identity is what powers long-term transformation. Once you believe you are that kind of person, you begin to act like it in every area of your life. And don't wait for someone to notice. Don't wait for applause. Most of your progress will happen in silence. Nobody's going to cheer you on when you get out of bed early. Nobody's going to clap when you go for a walk instead of scrolling on your phone. But those are the decisions that shape your mind. That's how you rewire the part of you that used to quit too soon. You stop needing recognition because you realize that you are becoming your own source of pride. Every time you do the right thing, even when it's hard, even when it's small, you build strength. Every time you follow through, you stack a little more belief. And that belief compounds. It doesn't fade, it multiplies. Until one day you look back and realize that the person you used to be, the one who hesitated, procrastinated, and doubted, no longer exists. Because you replace them with someone who acts. someone who decides, someone who finishes. Don't underestimate the momentum of a small win. Momentum is the most powerful force in personal change. One win leads to another. One win reminds you that you can. One win makes the next decision easier. It's like a chain reaction. You take one positive action, and your brain craves another. That's how discipline becomes a habit. That's how confidence becomes your natural state. So here's your strategy. Simplify your day into a few clear commitments. Keep them achievable, but make them non-negotiable. Write them down, commit to them, and execute. Doesn't matter if it's drinking a glass of water in the morning. Doesn't matter if it's reading one page. Doesn't matter if it's doing 5 push-ups. You just need to start stacking. Because those tiny wins, they're training your brain to believe in your future. And stop waiting for the right mood. Stop waiting until you feel like it. That's the old story. That's the version of you who never changed. You don't need to feel ready to take action. You just need to decide that progress matters more than comfort. And the moment you make that decision and follow it with action, you'll feel a new kind of energy, earn self-respect. You build that every single day. You show up when it's boring. You show up when you're tired. You show up when nobody cares. Because that's who you are now. You're not driven by mood. You're driven by mission. You're not chasing perfection. You're chasing progress. You're not waiting for life to change. You're changing it with your daily actions. And here's the beautiful thing. Confidence becomes contagious. It spreads to every area of your life. You walk differently. You talk with more clarity. You stop explaining yourself. You stop apologizing for wanting more. Because you know, deep in your bones, that you've earned the right to hold your head high. Not because of something big you did one time, but because of the steady effort you've made every single day. This is the formula. Not overnight success, not huge breakthroughs, but daily discipline, tiny wins, personal integrity. That's how you change a life. That's how you go from feeling lost to being unshakable. Not through talk, not through hope, but through consistent, focused, daily action. Nobody is coming to give you confidence. It doesn't arrive with age or experience. It arrives when you prove to yourself that you can trust your own hands to build the life you want. And if you keep doing that day after day, you'll realize something powerful. You don't need to fake confidence anymore. You don't need to perform it, because you've earned it. And that kind of confidence can't be shaken. Not by failure, not by doubt, not by anyone's opinion. It's yours. So wake up tomorrow and win. Just one small win. Stack another the next day. And another. And keep going. That's how you build confidence from nothing. That's how you build yourself back better than before. And no matter how long it takes, no matter how slow the progress feels, you're never moving backward if you keep showing up. One win at a time, you're becoming unstoppable. Number 6, push past discomfort and embrace the growth it brings. Everything you want is on the other side of discomfort, and the only way to reach it is to stop running and start facing it. Growth never comes wrapped in comfort. It comes hidden inside the struggles you want to avoid, the actions you hesitate to take, and the limits you convince yourself you can't break. If you want to become the strongest, clearest, and most powerful version of yourself, you have to be willing to push past the friction and step directly into the resistance. Most people live their lives trying to avoid the very thing that would transform them. They run from hard conversations. They dodge pressure. They stay in their routines because discomfort feels like a threat. But it's not a threat. It's a doorway. When you feel discomfort, that's your mind telling you, this is the edge. And that edge is where growth begins. It's the place where the old you ends and the new you starts forming. But only if you push through, instead of pulling back. You will never become great by staying in places that feel easy. You will never unlock your potential if you keep avoiding the hard work that demands more of you. You will never discover your full strength by doing what's familiar. You grow by doing what challenges you, especially when everything in you wants to back down. Discomfort is not a reason to quit. It's a signal to lean in. The people who level up in life are not the ones who feel the most ready. They're the ones who keep showing up when it's inconvenient. They're the ones who sit with the discomfort and keep going anyway. They're the ones who understand that pain isn't the enemy, it's the path. When something feels hard, when your mind starts whispering that you're not built for this, that's when you dig deeper and prove that you are. Because once you realize discomfort is temporary, but growth is permanent, everything shifts. You stop looking for shortcuts. You stop wishing it was easier. You start asking better questions. You start asking, what am I learning right now? You start asking, what's on the other side of this challenge? You start embracing the process instead of fearing it. And that mindset separates the winners from the wishers. Think about this: every time you choose the easier path, you delay your own evolution. Every time you quit when it gets hard, you teach your mind that quitting is an option. Every time you avoid what's difficult, you sacrifice the version of yourself that could have been built through that struggle. But when you go through it, when you decide to endure, when you decide to act anyway, that's when you reshape everything. That's when discomfort becomes your advantage. You start to realize that pressure refines you, that challenges shape your character, that failure doesn't define you unless you stop trying. And the more often you face that discomfort and keep moving, the stronger you get, not just physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. You start carrying yourself differently because you've been through something. You've earned your growth. You've paid for it with discipline. That kind of strength is unshakable. You don't get better by avoiding what's hard. You get better by stepping into it, day after day. You show up when it hurts. You show up when it's messy. You show up when your mind tells you to sit down. And you silence that voice with action. Every step you take through discomfort is another piece of the armor you're building. It's another layer of confidence that no one can take away from you. And here's the truth: most people never understand what you think is breaking you is actually building you. That pain you feel, it's growth under construction. That frustration, it's potential trying to surface. That fatigue, it's the price of becoming resilient. You're not falling apart, you're being rebuilt. But only if you keep pushing forward, only if you keep showing up. You don't need to feel fearless to act with courage. Courage is not the absence of discomfort. It's the choice to move anyway. It's choosing effort over ease. It's choosing to lean into pain instead of numbing it. And that choice, repeated enough times, transforms you. It transforms your identity. It makes you a person who doesn't run when things get tough, but instead runs toward the challenge, knowing that's where greatness is born. And yes, discomfort can be exhausting. There will be moments where you doubt yourself, where the resistance feels like too much. But those moments are the most important. That's where you decide what kind of person you're becoming. You either stay small or you rise. You either retreat to safety or you chase your potential. And every time you make that decision to keep going, you expand your capacity for more. Because that's what growth does. It expands you. It stretches your limits. It forces you to upgrade your mindset. It pushes you to dig deeper than you thought possible. And that's the entire point. You're not meant to stay the same. You're not here to coast through life, avoiding difficulty. You're here to evolve. You're here to rise. And growth only comes to those who are willing to endure the discomfort required to earn it. So the next time you feel resistance, don't panic. Don't quit. Don't retreat. Get excited. Get focused. That's the signal that you're entering the zone of transformation. That's the signal that you're about to become someone stronger. And you don't need to do it perfectly. You just need to keep going. You just need to move forward. No matter how slow, no matter how heavy the moment feels. Every step counts. Every moment of discipline adds up. And the crazy part is, eventually discomfort doesn't scare you anymore. You start to crave it. You start to seek it. Because you realize it's the only place where growth lives. You stop running from pain and start seeing it as feedback. You stop fearing failure and start using it as fuel. And in that shift, you become unstoppable. Not because life gets easier, but because you've become stronger than the circumstances. This is the work. This is the real grind. Not just hustling harder, but mastering your response to resistance. Not just pushing for results, but rewiring your relationship with challenge. You develop the ability to stay focused in chaos. You learn to keep moving forward when comfort calls your name. You learn to live with intensity, even when progress feels slow. And over time, that makes you unstoppable. So ask yourself, What discomfort have you been avoiding? What challenge have you been postponing? What growth have you delayed because it came wrapped in pressure? And now ask yourself, are you ready to stop waiting? Are you ready to walk into the fire instead of walking around it? Are you ready to earn your next level through action, not excuses? If you are, then today's your moment. You don't need a perfect plan. You don't need to wait for the right time. You just need to start. Start with what's hard. Start with what you fear. Start with what challenges you. And keep going. Over time, your tolerance for discomfort will grow. Your capacity for growth will expand. And your life will begin to reflect the strength you've earned. Because comfort never changed anyone. Comfort keeps people average. Comfort is where dreams go to die. But discomfort, that's where your potential lies. That's where the new you is waiting. And all it takes to meet that version of yourself is the courage to keep pushing forward. No matter what, no matter how hard, you keep moving, you keep rising, you keep growing. That's how you win. Number 7, focus on your mindset to shape your future results. Your future is not determined by what happens to you, but by how you respond to what happens. Your mindset holds the key to everything that you will become, everything you will accomplish, and everything you will face. It's not about how much talent you have or how many resources are available to you. It's about what you choose to believe about yourself, your potential, and the challenges ahead. Imagine for a moment that your mind is a garden. Whatever you plant in it, whether good or bad, is what will eventually grow. If you constantly feed it negativity, self-doubt, and fear, those seeds will grow into obstacles that block your progress. If you plant thoughts of determination, resilience, and belief, those seeds will flourish into strength, success, and opportunity. Your mindset shapes the outcome of your life more than any external factor could ever hope to. The moment you shift the way you think is the moment you unlock the potential to shape your future. You can choose to dwell on what's wrong, what's hard, or what's missing in your life. Or you can choose to see challenges as opportunities, to view setbacks as lessons, and to recognize that every situation you face is a stepping stone toward growth. You decide how you perceive the world, and that perception dictates how you move through it. The way you think affects everything: your energy, your confidence, your actions, and your results. When you focus on possibilities instead of problems, the world starts opening up to you in ways you never imagined. You'll see opportunities where others see obstacles. You'll make decisions from a place of strength, not fear. And you'll begin to realize that you have the power to shape your future, not by waiting for circumstances to change, but by changing how you respond to them. It's easy to get lost in the noise of the world, to let your circumstances dictate your mood, your choices, and your actions. But when you focus on cultivating a mindset that empowers you, you stop being at the mercy of your circumstances. You start living with intention, and your results begin to reflect the strength of your mindset. The power lies in your ability to rise above external conditions and create internal conditions that support your goals. You need to believe that what's in front of you is temporary, that what's behind you doesn't define you, and that what you have inside you is stronger than any challenge you'll ever face. That belief is the foundation of a resilient mindset. And when you operate from a place of strength, your ability to create change and shape your results multiplies. But it's not enough to simply wish for a better mindset. You have to actively work on it every single day. Just like you would train a muscle, you have to train your mind. This means replacing negative thought patterns with empowering ones, challenging your own limiting beliefs, and feeding your mind with positive affirmations, inspiration, and growth-oriented content. It means making the conscious choice to focus on solutions, not problems, and opportunities, not setbacks. The key to shifting your mindset is taking responsibility for the thoughts you choose to entertain. It's easy to get stuck in patterns of negative thinking, especially when things aren't going your way. But your thoughts are not facts. They are not permanent. You get to decide what you focus on, and what you focus on grows. If you focus on doubt and fear, those emotions will govern your actions and limit your results. But if you focus on possibility and growth, you will begin to take actions that lead to success, no matter how small the steps may seem at first. What you think about yourself has a powerful impact on what you can achieve. Your thoughts about your abilities, your strengths, and your potential directly affect the way you show up in the world. If you believe you're capable of achieving something, your behavior will align with that belief. You'll take consistent action, push through setbacks, and keep going even when the going gets tough. But if you believe that your success is out of reach, or that you're not worthy of it, you'll self-sabotage without even realizing it. You'll shrink from challenges, avoid risks, and limit your potential. Your mindset either propels you forward or holds you back. One of the most powerful things you can do is to develop a growth mindset. A growth mindset is the belief that your abilities and intelligence can be developed over time through hard work, dedication, and learning. This mindset empowers you to embrace challenges, to learn from failure, and to keep pushing yourself further, because you understand that every experience is an opportunity to improve. When you adopt this mindset, setbacks don't become reasons to quit. They become opportunities to learn and grow stronger. On the flip side, a fixed mindset, the belief that your talents and intelligence are static and unchangeable, will limit your progress. When you have a fixed mindset, you shy away from challenges because they threaten your sense of self-worth. You avoid situations where you might fail or struggle because you fear what that failure says about you. But with a growth mindset, you see failure as part of the process. It's not an indication of your inability. It's proof that you're stepping out of your comfort zone and growing. You can develop a growth mindset by constantly reminding yourself that you're capable of learning, improving, and adapting. Every time you face a challenge, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can I grow stronger? These questions shift your focus from what you don't know to what you can learn. And with that shift in focus comes a shift in your actions. You start taking bigger risks, learning from your mistakes, and expanding your limits. Another important aspect of mindset is resilience, the ability to bounce back from adversity. Life doesn't always go as planned. You will face setbacks, obstacles, and moments of doubt. But when you have a resilient mindset, you don't let these things stop you. Instead, you view them as temporary and surmountable. You build your ability to persevere, to stay calm in the face of difficulty, and to trust that you have what it takes to handle whatever comes your way. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't is often not the obstacles they face, but how they choose to respond to those obstacles. A resilient mindset allows you to keep moving forward even when things are hard. Your mindset shapes how you approach every area of your life, your health, your career, your relationships, and your personal growth. If you want to improve your results in any area, start by looking at the mindset that's driving your actions. Are you approaching challenges with a growth mindset or a fixed mindset? Are you resilient in the face of setbacks, or do you give up easily? Are you focused on solutions and possibilities, or are you trapped in negative thinking? The answers to these questions will determine your results. Your mindset is the foundation upon which everything else is built. If you want to create the life you desire, you have to start by shaping the way you think. Shift from a mindset of limitation to one of possibility. Shift from a mindset of fear to one of courage. Shift from a mindset of passivity to one of action. And most importantly, shift from a mindset of doubt to one of belief, belief in yourself, in your potential, and in your ability to shape your future. When you do that, the results will follow. Your mindset is the key to unlocking the life you've always dreamed of. So start using it to your advantage. Number 8. Break down your goals into actionable and measurable steps. If your goals feel too far away, it's not because they're impossible. It's because they're not yet clearly defined into steps you can act on today. Big dreams don't get accomplished by chance or wishful thinking. They happen when you break them down so clearly, so precisely, that there's no confusion about what needs to be done next. The bridge between where you are and where you want to be is built with consistent, small, measurable actions. And the truth is, most people fail not because they don't have ambition, but because they never turn that ambition into a structure. When you're staring at a massive goal, it can feel overwhelming. You might feel excited one day, paralyzed the next. That happens because your brain can't hold or process the entire vision at once. It needs clarity. It needs sequence. It needs to know where to start. If your goal is to get in the best shape of your life, that's great. But what does that look like? What does that require this week, today, right now? Until you define it and shape it into pieces you can grab and move, it remains a concept, not a plan. You can't take action on something that hasn't been broken down. The most powerful shift you can make is to move from general thinking to specific execution. Don't just say, I want to be successful. Ask yourself, what does success mean for me? What are the steps that get me there? Instead of saying, I want to write a book, say, I will write 500 words every morning at 7 a.m. That's how momentum is built. The more measurable your actions, the less your emotions can interfere with your commitment. You don't need to feel ready to act. You just need to know exactly what the next move is. Clarity eliminates hesitation. If you wake up and you already know exactly what your next task is, there's no internal debate. You're not wasting mental energy deciding what to do. You're using that energy to get it done. But if you wake up with a vague idea of your goals, your day becomes reactive instead of focused. You get pulled into distractions, into doubts, into everything that doesn't move you forward. That's why clear steps matter. They cut through uncertainty and give you something to grip when the motivation isn't there. Every goal you have, no matter how big, can be reverse engineered. Let's say your dream is to build a business. That can be overwhelming. But when you start to break it down, you'll see the path. What's the first product or service? What are the tools you need? Who do you need to learn from? What's the first version you can build within a week? Each question creates a smaller task. And the smaller the task, the easier it is to start. The easier it is to start, the faster you build progress. Progress builds belief. Belief fuels discipline. And discipline sustains momentum. It's not about doing everything at once. It's about doing the right thing next. And the right thing becomes obvious when your goals are broken into steps you can see, measure, and complete. That's the system high performers use. They don't leave it up to chance. They create a path. They define the game. They make the rules work for them. And every day they check off pieces of the larger goal without letting the size of the dream crush their daily focus. Don't just write goals. Build systems. Set deadlines. Track progress. Know what winning looks like every day. Because if you don't define success on the micro level, you'll never reach it on the macro. Think about it like climbing a mountain. You don't jump to the top. You take one solid step, then another. And you make sure each one is firm before you continue. That's how you climb with confidence. That's how you ensure you don't fall when the weather shifts or the terrain gets difficult. Each small win gives you footing for the next. You also build trust with yourself through these steps. Every time you complete a measurable task, you send a message to your brain. I follow through. That matters. That's how self-belief is built. It doesn't come from hype or inspiration. It comes from execution. From doing what you said you would do, even when it's small, especially when it's small. Because if you can't stick to small actions, how can you ever expect to handle bigger responsibilities? Tracking your progress also allows you to adapt. When your goals are clear and your actions are measurable, you can see what's working and what isn't. You don't waste months hoping things improve. You course correct quickly. You stay flexible, not frustrated. You learn faster. You improve faster. And as you keep refining your process, you start hitting goals that once felt out of reach. That's the power of intentional action. One of the worst traps is thinking you have to wait until everything is perfect to begin. You don't need the full blueprint before taking the first step. You just need to know the next step, and then take it with full focus. Action breeds clarity. Once you move, you'll see more clearly. And once you see more clearly, you'll move better. That cycle creates unstoppable momentum. But it starts with that first bite-sized step. And remember, measurement isn't just for big outcomes. It's for daily progress. You want to know, did I do what I planned today? Did I keep the promise I made to myself? Did I check off the task that moves me forward, even if just slightly? Those daily wins stack. They become habits, and habits become identity. When you consistently act like someone who finishes what they start, you begin to see yourself that way. That identity fuels even greater performance. Don't confuse busyness with progress. Being busy means doing a lot. Being productive means doing what matters most. That's why defined steps are critical. They force you to prioritize. You stop wasting time on distractions disguised as effort. You focus your energy where it counts. And that's how goals get achieved faster. Not by working more, but by working smarter. You also reduce burnout when your actions are structured. Ambition without structure is exhausting. It leaves you feeling like you're trying, but not moving. That's frustrating. But when you know exactly what you're aiming at and how to measure your effort, you start seeing results, slowly, then suddenly. And that keeps your energy high, your focus sharp, and your belief strong. You don't need to have all the answers. You just need to decide what you're going to do today, how long you'll do it, and how you'll know it's done. Set a timer. Create a checklist. Hold yourself accountable. Track progress weekly. Adjust monthly. Review your wins. Improve your approach. That's how results become predictable. That's how success becomes intentional. So whatever goal you're holding in your mind right now, don't leave it floating in the future. Pull it into the present by turning it into steps you can take today. Break it down until there's no confusion left, until the only thing left is action. That's how big goals become daily routines. That's how dreams become reality. Not in one giant leap, but in thousands of clear, intentional steps. You already have the will. Now give yourself the map. The rest is just effort, day by day, brick by brick. Number 9, surround yourself with people who push you forward. If you want to rise to your fullest potential, you must first recognize that your environment is one of the most powerful forces shaping your growth. The people around you have an undeniable influence on your mindset, your behavior, and the outcomes you experience. They either push you forward or hold you back. There is no neutral ground when it comes to the people you surround yourself with. They either contribute to your success or drain your energy. Take a hard look at your circle. Are you surrounded by those who encourage you to strive for greatness, or do they keep you comfortable in mediocrity? The people you spend the most time with directly impact your energy, focus, and drive. You may not realize it, but each conversation you have, every piece of advice you take in, and every story you listen to is shaping your future. The most successful people on this planet are not the ones who isolated themselves. They are the ones who sought out mentors, peers, and friends who inspired them to push further. This doesn't just mean surrounding yourself with yes people who tell you what you want to hear. The most effective people know that growth comes from being around those who challenge you, who hold you to higher standards, and who aren't afraid to tell you when you need to improve. If your circle doesn't make you feel slightly uncomfortable, it's time to level up. You need people who push you outside your comfort zone, who stretch your limits, and who demand more from you because they believe in your potential. Let's be honest, change is hard. It's easy to stay in your comfort zone and surround yourself with people who keep you where you are. But growth never happens in the comfort zone. It's in the spaces where you feel challenged, where your assumptions are questioned, and where you are encouraged to step up. When you are around people who are always striving for more, you are naturally inclined to do the same. They push you to see bigger possibilities for yourself and remind you that you are capable of much more than you give yourself credit for. One of the most powerful aspects of surrounding yourself with people who push you forward is that they hold you accountable. It's easy to get distracted or lose momentum when you're going after big goals, but having a group of people who believe in your potential and hold you to your word keeps you on track. You're less likely to quit when you know someone is watching, supporting, and pushing you to keep going. However, there is a fine line between being pushed and being drained. The people you surround yourself with must be those who genuinely have your best interests at heart. There are toxic individuals who will suck the life out of your ambitions and distract you with their negativity or selfishness. These are the people who criticize, belittle, or undermine your efforts. They may not even mean to do it, but their actions and attitudes can easily knock you off course. That's why it's important to be selective with your inner circle. Look for people who inspire you, who see your potential even when you can't see it yourself. These are the people who push you forward by offering constructive feedback, by offering solutions instead of complaints, and by showing you what's possible when you commit to personal growth. It's not enough to simply have people around you. You need people who are moving in the same direction. The energy of a group is contagious. When you are surrounded by people who are also striving to grow, succeed and challenge themselves. You feed off each other's energy. The momentum that builds from being around high achievers is like rocket fuel for your dreams. But if you are surrounded by people who are content with mediocrity, who aren't committed to their own growth, or who discourage you from going after your goals, you'll find yourself stuck in the mud. Think about the people you admire most, whether they are successful in business, health, relationships, or personal development. More likely than not, these individuals didn't achieve their success in isolation. They sought out relationships that helped them grow. They formed bonds with mentors, colleagues, and peers who offered support, guidance, and yes, the occasional hard truth. They didn't go at it alone, and neither should you. The beauty of surrounding yourself with people who push you forward is that it becomes a two-way street. You'll find yourself not only gaining from their wisdom and energy, but also giving back. When you're in a group that's committed to growth, your own contributions help others rise. The more you support, encourage, and share insights with others, the more you will learn in return. You become an integral part of the community of growth, and that sense of purpose drives you forward even more. You push others to their next level, and they push you to yours. But let's be real, seeking out the right people isn't always easy. You'll have to take a hard look at who you are spending your time with. It might require cutting ties with some people who have been holding you back, even if those relationships are comfortable or long-standing. It's not always about abandoning people, but about recognizing that some relationships no longer serve your growth. You must be willing to make the difficult decision to protect your energy and invest it where it counts. Surrounding yourself with those who push you forward also involves creating a circle of accountability. These people don't just cheer you on. They make sure you're doing the work, staying disciplined, and following through. Accountability partners help you stay focused, especially when the work gets tough or the results don't come as quickly as you hoped. They remind you of why you started and help you keep moving forward when the going gets rough. It's not about holding you to a rigid schedule, but about helping you maintain consistency, even on days when you feel like giving up. To build the right network, you don't have to know everyone. Start by finding people who share similar values, who are committed to their own growth, and who are willing to invest in relationships that lift everyone up. You'll find them in communities that promote success, health, leadership, or personal development. These are the environments where you will find the people who challenge you to be your best self. But perhaps most importantly, you have to be the kind of person who also pushes others forward. The law of reciprocity plays a huge role in creating relationships that are mutually beneficial. If you want people who challenge and motivate you, you must be willing to do the same for them. Support, encouragement, and constructive feedback should be part of your own DNA. You can't expect people to give you what you're not willing to offer in return. And here's the reality. There's always someone out there who is further along in their journey than you are. Seek them out. Learn from them. Let them push you to new heights. But at the same time, never forget that there will always be someone behind you on the same journey. Be the person who reaches back and helps them rise too. The more you give, the more you get. And the more you elevate others, the higher you'll rise yourself. Success is never a solo journey. It's about building the right environment, connecting with the right people, and making sure that everyone in your circle is pushing each other forward. Surround yourself with people who challenge you to step up, push past your limits, and believe in your potential. It's only then that you will begin to see the incredible growth and results you've been working for. Choose your people wisely, and remember, the strength of your circle is directly related to the strength of your success. So choose those who push you higher and watch how they propel you to your highest self. Number 10, keep your vision clear and never settle for less. You have a vision, don't you? A dream that calls to you even when life tries to drown it out. The truth is, every successful person has one thing in common. They keep their vision clear and refuse to settle for anything less than that vision. The world will try to push you off course. People will doubt you. Circumstances will change, and challenges will test your resolve. But if you want to achieve something extraordinary, you must never, ever settle for less than the dream that is inside you. Too many people get distracted by the noise. They lose sight of their purpose because they get caught up in the pressure of what others expect or the fear of failure. The truth is, Most people fail not because they don't have the potential or the ability, but because they let their vision fade. They compromise. They take shortcuts. They stop believing in what they once imagined for themselves. They forget why they started. This is where the difference between success and mediocrity lies. The people who change the world, who build legacies, who create something meaningful, are the ones who hold on to their vision no matter what. They know where they're going, and they don't allow anything or anyone to distract them from that path. They keep their vision clear, and they let it guide them through every obstacle, every setback, and every challenge they face. Keeping your vision clear doesn't mean you won't face moments of doubt or frustration. You will. There will be times when the road seems too long, the goals too far away, and the obstacles too overwhelming. But the difference between those who succeed and those who don't is that the ones who succeed never lose sight of their vision. They find a way to navigate through the difficult times without letting go of their dream. This doesn't mean that your vision won't evolve over time. Growth and change are inevitable. What you envision for yourself today may not be the same as what you envision for yourself a year from now or 5 years from now. But the core of your vision, the heart of your purpose, should remain unwavering. Your vision is your compass, your North Star. As long as you keep it clear and true, no matter what shifts or changes around you, you'll always have a sense of direction. There's a powerful truth in never settling for less. The universe will rise to meet you. When you set your sights on something higher, something bigger than yourself, the world begins to conspire in your favor. Opportunities that once seemed impossible start to appear. Doors that seemed locked start to open. The right people will come into your life, and the right circumstances will line up. But none of this happens unless you keep your vision intact and refuse to settle for mediocrity. The world is full of distractions designed to pull you off course. Every day you'll encounter temptations to lower your standards, to settle for less than what you know you deserve. It could be an opportunity that seems too good to pass up, but doesn't align with your true purpose. It could be the pressure of comparing your journey to someone else's. It could be the comfort of staying where you are, rather than pushing forward. But if you want to succeed, you have to learn to recognize these distractions for what they are: temporary diversions that have nothing to do with the bigger picture you're working toward. The people who succeed are the ones who refuse to compromise their standards, who say no to the things that don't serve their vision. They understand that every yes to something that isn't aligned with their goals is a no to the things that will move them closer to their dreams. This means being willing to say no to comfort, to security, to the familiar. It means having the courage to walk away from things that seem appealing in the moment, but will ultimately hold you back from your true purpose. The power of a clear vision is not just in the goal you set, but in the clarity it brings to your actions. When you know where you're headed, every decision you make becomes simpler. Every choice, big or small, is filtered through the lens of your vision. Does this bring me closer to my goal, or does it pull me away from it? When you are clear on what you want, you will naturally start making decisions that align with your goals, and those decisions compound over time, bringing you closer to the life you're meant to live. But let's be clear, keeping your vision clear isn't always easy. There will be days when you question whether it's worth it. There will be moments when you doubt your ability to achieve what you've set out to do. But these are the moments that define you. The difference between those who succeed and those who fall short is how they handle the moments of doubt. Will you allow them to derail you, or will you use them as fuel to move forward? The most successful people are those who learn how to keep their vision clear. No matter how much doubt or uncertainty tries to creep in, they learn how to trust the process and keep taking action, even when the results aren't immediately apparent. They know that success is not a straight line, but a series of ups and downs, and they're okay with that. They keep their eyes on the prize, knowing that every setback is just a setup for a greater comeback. Here's another important truth. When you are clear about your vision, you will attract others who share your values and your drive. The right people will start to show up in your life. This is why it's so crucial to keep your vision strong, because when you do, you send out a signal that resonates with others who are on the same path. They'll support you, they'll challenge you, and they'll push you to be your best. But here's the catch. You can't afford to surround yourself with people who don't understand or support your vision. You need to be selective about who you let into your inner circle. The people around you should be those who inspire you to keep going, who help you see the bigger picture, and who won't allow you to settle for less than you are capable of. If you want to keep your vision clear, you have to surround yourself with those who believe in it as much as you do. There will always be forces trying to drag you down. There will always be people who tell you that your dreams are too big, too unrealistic, or too far out of reach. But those voices are not your truth. They are the voices of fear and doubt, and they have no place in your journey. Don't let them drown out the clarity and power of your vision. Instead, use those voices as fuel to prove them wrong. Never settle for less than what you've set out to achieve. You were born for something greater than a life of mediocrity. You are capable of achieving incredible things, but only if you keep your vision clear and stay committed to it. When you stay true to your vision, no matter what challenges come your way, you will find a way to succeed. The path may not always be easy, and the road may be long, but as long as you stay focused on your vision, you will find a way to get there. And remember, the world is waiting for you to step up and live your life according to your vision. Don't settle for less. Keep pushing forward, stay clear on your goals, and know that the life you desire is waiting for you to claim it. The power is in your hands. Never forget that.